right, hi everyone. How are you today? I'm like moving my camera around, so I'm getting a little discombobulated here. Hello, how are you? I see we already have Alan in the chat. Thank you for joining us. I am just going to quickly flip over and just make sure that everything is working okay. So far, I think it is, which is good. How is everyone today? It has been a little bit crazy. Thank you very much to the whole snowstorm thing going on. Do let me know. Let me fix this again. All right, there we go. Let me fix the audio just a little bit because I see that it got a little funky on me. Anyways, hello. How are you? Hi. We had a snowstorm come through, and it basically like threw me off completely again this week as to what day of the week is it that we're doing? Huh? What? So the kids had off yesterday, and they had a delayed opening today. Oh, it looks like my camera is being feisty. Give me a quick second here so I can fix the one that's on me. Let's see here. We need to fix that. So that means, let's see. Oh, why are you doing this to me? So anyways, the kids head off. It's one of those things where since I had some extra time, I decided to fool around with getting my layout around my art desk once again figured out. Hold on, I'm going to do an unplug and a replug. That usually will help. Let's see here. Did that do the trick for me? Of course not. Why would it? So anyways, basically, I decided to try and rig the one camera overhead, this one right here, so that it's hanging up much higher and I can zoom down. Let me try and trick this. I wonder if this will work. Okay, hi, you're getting like a full view. So basically I just redid my whole layout. I used to have my camera right here. Now I have it hanging up way up here. And that is something that I'm hoping will mean I won't inadvertently clunk into it because that was getting annoying. Ah, see, this is much better. Now you can see me now. But let me just do a quick little trick here. This is always the fun thing about going live. You never know what things are going to do to you because this was working perfectly fine until I toggled back from the main screen. And let's hit save and that'll do it. And look, now you got me talking and you have my hands for painting. So we're doing the Umber Hulk today. Sorry about that technical glitch. So we're doing the Umber Hulk today and I did give him a little bit of a wash over the weekend. If you're going to try and follow this as well and copy it, I'm not going to recommend doing the wash because it definitely muted things a little bit too much. So this is one of those things where really you don't need to do the wash once you get that upper layer of color in there. Yeah, Torn Pixie, it stays fuzzy down here because when I bring it up, I want to make sure it's more focused on how I'm painting. So we do have a good list of people in here. We have Silent Addie, we have Torn Pixie, we have John S., we have Alan, Brad, Jacob, and Alan again. So hi and welcome. Thank you very much. So yes, basically today, the name of the game is going to be adding on the iridescent paints, which are the color shift paints that I got from Plaid. These are the Flash Metallic is what they're called. So the Flash Metallic line from Ceramcoat. I keep wanting to say Ceramicoat. I think from ceramics. So I'm going to be using paints from this line for the color shift because they have that duo chrome thing going on. So this was like a lime green, sky blue. And I'll show you that as we get there. Then I'm also going to be putting in some final details. Remember how I said I want to go back and sort of dry brush in here? I do want to do that for his underbelly. And then I'll be addressing the eyes as well as sort of doing a dry brush on the claws to bring those details out as well. Yes, Silent Addie, the curse of a live production. Things always go wrong and need fixing. That is inevitable. So if anyone's thinking about getting started in this, don't let it overwhelm you. People understand you are only human and technology likes to have fun with you. So that's pretty much the game plan for this. And then I'm going to put him onto a base and I'm just going to go with a simple black base because what I want to do is put him on basically the base he came with. But I'm going to put him on and you can see how he has his own little sort of foothold here. So I'm going to put this onto the base and then I'm going to blend it in using the Vallejo texture paint, which you'll see me use this a lot in craft tutorials. I love this stuff. This stuff is good. So this is going to help sort of blend the texture that's going on here onto the base itself because I just have that personal quirk. I don't like the difference between that to that. To me, it's just like, I don't know. it's a disassociation between mini and base. So I'm going to blend the two together using the Vallejo texture paints. And again, at the end of the live streams, every single time I go back in, I plug in the paint colors that have been used, the products that have been used, anything that's been mentioned ahead of time so that people can go back and follow through and check things out. So do make sure to check out the description. You can probably even check it out now if you so like. But that's the game plan for today. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to work on getting his underbelly slightly highlighted up because there are some neat textures there, but obviously since it's underneath, I'm not going to worry so much about giving him the iridescence. So I'm going to work with Imperial Blue and start with that one. Plaid and folk art is part of Plaid, as is Ceramcoat. So chances are it's a very similar product, just under different names. That's just something to keep in mind. Apple Barrel Folk Art, Ceramcoat, and Delta is the other paint line. A lot of this is regional as opposed as to where these are all available. But yes, these color shifts are awesome. Those Torn Pixie, I have seen them in both things like Michael's and Joann's and Walmart. Walmart? No, not Walmart. Michael's and Joann's, they have had those, at least in my area. Again, a lot of this is dependent upon where you live as to which line is readily available. So I'm going in with the Imperial Blue. And just here, I want to bring out the details there. And remember how last week I showed you that really cool clear circle thing, the sticky circle? Well, they are great. However, when you keep putting your thumb to leverage against the base, not so great. I keep popping it off. So I did have to revert back to using the blue tack if you've noticed that. That's why that's there. But I still do really like using that, provided the base isn't, it seems to be as the base is bigger and it lips over, that's where I have problems. If the base is still completely covered, then it's perfectly fine. So that's why you will be seeing the blue tack. All right, so I'm trying to get it so you can see the two. There we go. So here's with the dry brushing, and here's without. So I'm gonna get that guy now. And again, this is just a very light coat. It's not going in and being super heavy-handed. And again, I'm going to do what I can here with this mini. He's got lots of fun, wonky angles to work with. So again, I'm just going to get these little touch-ups so that brings out the detail more of what he has going on underneath. Not like anyone's really going to see it at the table, but that's the fun stuff to bring out. 2 Michaels in your city. One has color shifts, the other doesn't. Yeah, you know, that's buyers, stuff like that for the store. Buyers, suppliers, you never know. But I do have luck sometimes just going onto Amazon. I'm trying to find a good angle for his stomach area. If you go onto Amazon, sometimes you can find those too. I will forewarn you, the price is definitely more because it's someone who's gone and purchased these and is selling them on Amazon. So just, you can keep that in mind too. This is going to be a funky angle. So right now I'm just quickly doing the same thing like I did underneath the claws and the hand zone. But I'm putting this onto the abdomen area of Mr. Umber Hulk. And again, I just thought it'd be fun to do an Umber Hulk, pardon me, with a little bit of a different flair. And yes, I know Umber Hulks are normally of a brown, orangey, yellowish tones. I'm actually doing a mix, Alan, now that I see Alan's asking me why I have switched over to doing droppers. I'm using everything I have, quite frankly. Vallejo sent me the case of the game color line, which is fantastic. And I will use them if there are colors in there I want. If you watch the Hook Horror series, those were all craft paints. So honestly, it's more based for me. It's more based for me as to the colors I want to use, as to the paints I'll start pulling out. I don't know if the microphone's going to pick up the whining of the wind through our heat vent, but if you hear a wow, that's what that is. And actually, I'm putting on the craft paints on top of this because those are the color shift paints. All right, so what I just did is I took that Imperial Blue again and basically just highlighted up those fun little details on the side of him, which I think is pretty darn cool. There's some really awesome details in this mini. If you haven't gotten this mini yet, I did put a link in the description as well if anyone wants to purchase it off of Amazon. But of course, if you can, and if you do have a local game store in your area, go there first and see if they have it. Because then you're helping out the local guy, which I like. I like that ability. Oh, did I forget to get myself some rinse water? I think I forgot to get myself some rinse water. No big deal. I have my little bottle of distilled water right over here. All right, so I'm just sneaking this brush in. Getting those high points again. And you see it just sort of brings it out a little bit more. But I'm not going to go crazy. That's pretty much it for the Imperial Blue for what I'm going to do with this guy. Now I'm going to quickly get water to rinse. And I'm going to focus on working on his claws. You can see with that. And we have Kate. Oh, hello, Kate. I didn't see you jump in there. Kate is talking about the whole supply factor with different products. Problem with inventory is the size of the store. Oh, you know, that is true. Some stores get more exclusive things depending on their size. I used to deal with that when I worked in retail too. Okay, so goal next time in Portland, check out craft stores. Yes, definitely check out craft stores. Plus it's fun. All right, there we go. Now we have my little bit of water. So I can clean this brush, because let me tell you this right now, I don't want to put Imperial Blue onto my brown claws. That would be bad. So for the claws, what I'm actually going to do is I am going to go in and use a metallic as a nod to the color shifts I'm going to be doing. And for that color, I am going to work with Tinny Tin on his claws, on his fingers and all that good stuff. And let's see here, we have Baka-kun. I hope I'm saying that right. Is there much of a difference between paints like Vallejo and Liquitex Basics for painting minis? Here's where I stand on paints, and this has been asked before, so I don't mind repeating myself because it's, you know, it's useful to have this knowledge. Really it boils down to how thick your paints are and how comfortable you are with using them. I have used craft paints pretty much from the word go. And really, as long as you thin them down with a good thinner, I like to use airbrush thinner, quite frankly, for all the paints that I use because I find that works the best for my techniques. But it boils down to making sure your paints aren't super thick and heavy, making sure you are comfortable with the type of paint you're using. So really, it's one of those things where in time, the more you use a particular paint, the more comfortable you're going to get with it. And you're also going to learn which paints are the paints you prefer to work with. Everyone has their own opinion. I mean, we could ask in the chat right now, which model paint do you prefer? I can guarantee you we're going to get Vallejo, we're going to get Army Painter, we're going to get Citadel. For me, it's more a matter of the colors I like that are being provided, as well as how they function, and again, how thin they are. And if I need to thin them out, I'll thin them out. And that usually does the trick for me. So hopefully that sort of answers your question there, Baka-kun, but it's really a matter of, I will always tell anyone starting out with miniature painting, it's okay to start with craft paints because those are far more affordable, and it also gives you more of a chance to play around and get used to working with a miniature to paint. Once you get comfortable, then by all means, start exploring the different brands out there and find out what works for you, what fits your needs. That's really what it boils down to. I could tell you this is the absolute only brand I will ever use, so on and so forth, and it could very well be the truth. However, you could go to work on it and you don't like it. So I'm not going to be the one to say, this is what you must use. I'll be the one to say, give this one a try. And if you don't like it, here are some other recommendations. So that's my 2 cents on paints and brands and types. It really is. And I mean, I have a lot of paints. I have a lot of paints for a bunch of different people that I'll use. If I am using something on my stream or in a tutorial, that means I like it. That means I will use it. It's something you'll see me work on all the time and work with all the time. Let's see here. No problem. Happy to answer questions, always. Now the fun thing with metallics is because of the shimmer. So here's the one done up. You can see it's got a little bit more of a shine to it now. It's kind of bringing out those details. I might go back in and just give those claws themselves a nice black coat. Yeah, definitely start with craft paint, as Tim's saying. And like I said, that to me is a good means of getting started and getting comfortable first. I know a lot of people can get overwhelmed, especially when you start looking at the price tags of the kits and everything like that. And then once you get comfortable, start exploring, start looking into things. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I got the top part, and now I'm going to try and get... Hello, Jedi Jim. How are you today? All right, now I'm going to get the... There's really no good angle for this guy for his claws. I'm just doing the same thing I did to the top, but I'm doing it to the bottom, which is kind of hard to see simply because of the hunched overness of this guy. And he has also got these guys in the back. However, I'm not going to use my big broad brush on that one. I'm going to jump down to, now this is a set that I got sent from Plaid. It's the Mod Podge ones, but they're really good for minis. So if you see those, hello Jan, if you see those, grab them because they're a lot of fun. And yes, it's a hot pink handle. It has nothing to do with why I'm using them. But I do like them for painting these minis. They're a nice and reasonable brush set. It's, I think it's 8 or 9 brushes in the set, and I really like them. Of course, I've thrown out the packaging, so I can't go and show you what it looks like, but keep an eye out for them. If you see the Mod Podge paint brushes, they're pretty sweet. I like them. Let's see here. Benjamin's jumping in. Negative 30 degrees. Yeah, it's cold. It's a little chilly. Just a little chilly. Yeah, that's great. Tim has some good experience advice that he's sharing with everyone. And there's like this little dew claw. There we go. Just a little bit. As you can see again, just kind of giving those a little extra something by putting that metallic on the tinny tin from Vallejo. Don't like Citadel pots. If you have a friend with a 3D printer, get them to printeth outeth one of these. This is a great base that I use, and it keeps them from going all tipsy on you. But I do agree, those Citadel pot styles, I love Citadel's washes. Like, those are a favorite of mine. Oh, but they like to spill. So if you can get a hold of someone with a 3D printer and have them find, I think I just typed in Thingiverse Citadel pot holders. There's a few different design options. I like that one that has the starburst look to it because it was just a little bit more stable and more to my liking. But those have been a godsend, I will say that. Okay, can you share that? That sounds lovely. 70 degrees. Yeah, that sounds heavenly right now to me. And again, there's just this little nubbin of a dew claw right there that I'm gonna get. All right, so that takes care of the claw. Yeah, I think since I'm gonna go back in with the antenna and just do a basic black on the antenna, I was thinking about that one. I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna do, they're like nails, claws type of thing. I'm gonna go back and put black on those too. So that's the plan for the very, very end. And we're doing a roll call of where everyone is from. It's kind of like a romper room. Where is everyone? Oh man, but yeah, it's definitely. Oh, it's cold. It's bitter cold. All right, so here we go. Here he is right now. And now I'm going to move on to doing the color shifts on him. And the eyes, and there's like these two little eyes right here. Eek, that I will get at the very end too. But I'm going to move on to using my reference photo again. And again, it's this lovely, lovely fellow. So you can kind of get the idea of where I'm going with him. I don't think I showed them side by side last time either. So I'm going to try and work on capturing these different iridescents with the paints that I have. So hopefully we can get this guy from this a little bit closer to this. I'm not expecting exact copy, but you see how my brain is working right now. So what I am going to do is, here we go. Let me pull out the paints that I have. So I have these two to get going with. And so right now I'm going to work with literally the blue and the purple and guess which one's going where. Not too hard. But these have really nifty color shifts where the purple has a hot pink to blue, and the blue has this light blue, turquoise blue to slight hints of almost a green every so often. I will say that these, hello Dustin, thank you for joining us. I will say that these are the type of paints where you need a base coat under them. They do not work well independently on their own. But I know this, and going into that, that's why I got all these colors based in here as they are, because I'm just depending on this for the shifting of colors, not for the full coverage. So that's just something to keep in mind when you go to work with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the blue. About 10 minutes away from Gen Con here, and it's crazy windy. Oh, I'm sure it is. Speaking of Gen Con, I managed to snag a hotel room and I got my press badge. So I will be going to Gen Con 2019. Thank you very much, Dustin. You know, when I go to paint these things, I'm the one who's always looking at the reference photos and I'll mull over everything. Funny thing is I've used this, but for terrain stuff, which means I've twisted the cap off and not flipped the cap open. I don't need a whole bunch of this paint. All right, there we go. I just need a little bit. And what I am going to do is go back to my broad brush to apply this. And I wonder, I haven't tried this yet. Let me see. I'm gonna try putting this onto my wrist. So you can see it's a very faint blue. But yeah, this is the thing. It's hard to really show off the shifts simply because I don't think the camera can catch the nuances of it, but there's definitely some really cool color shifts going on. Wylock did do a review of these paints on his channel. It was a recent video too. You can check that out, and he noticed the same thing. All right, so I'm basically going to start in putting this blue where the blue and that jade green were used before. And this is going to start giving it that iridescent shift, which you're kind of getting a hint of right now. I am not putting this on thick. I do not want this to be a full coverage, and it's actually hard to make it a full coverage, I will say that. And this is basically going to start giving it more of that insect, beetle, iridescence thing you'll see from like scarabs and different types of species, I think, of scarabs, basically. Scarabs is sort of a broad general term for those bugs. Ah, Big Bearded Nerd is here! He plays with me on Monday nights on Mini Terrain Domain. He's Bevan! Thanks for stopping by. And I'm also only going to be putting this onto the upper, I guess we'll call it body armor. So I'm not going to put this on the underbelly. Ooh, you're starting to get the idea. All right, so here you can see it's at least picking up that like purple shift a little bit. And obviously after this, oh, you better believe I'm taking pictures, and I am sharing pictures. Do shifting colors need black primer? I would say absolutely a dark color for them to really pop and show. They kind of show on white, but it's you might as well be putting a very light glass glaze on it if you're using white. Yeah, for what he was using them, they work better as a final coat. I wouldn't use them as an independent paint to stand on their own, is really what it boils down to. They're a great, let's call it a glaze paint approach. I would not call these a paint to use simply as, oh, I'm going to take this color and paint my whole piece. It won't stand up like that. And he made a similar point. You do need to put something underneath it. Thank you, DCC. You guys are really super chatty again. I'm trying to paint and read and chat, and hello, nurse. Lots of multitasking on that one. Let me see here. It's almost like you know what you're doing here, but really you're scary talented. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, maybe? Who knows? All right, here I go. I'm going to keep putting this on here. And the funny thing is, even as I'm painting this, the color's shifting on me, so I got to be paying attention to make sure I'm not over layering it. But, oh, are you going to be nice and pick up some? All right, so now you're seeing this shifting happening. So you're seeing that iridescent coming through. The lighter purple that's happening, that's from this paint I'm just applying. The blue and the jade green underneath, that's from applying the base coats in the second layer of color. That's why you need to do this combination to get that effect going. If I had just depended on the iridescent paints, wouldn't have happened. So that's why it helps to sort of plot and plan what you're going to do ahead of time. Oh yes, that's showing it off far better than I had in the past. So now I'm going to move this over to the shoulder plates. Shoulder pads. I almost called them shoulder pads. And I did get someone ask me why I decided to do the Umber Hulk like this. Because I can. Just for fun, really. And my husband knows this too when we get minis, that there are oftentimes I'll look at a mini, he goes, okay, what are you going to do with it this time? Because I like playing around with the colors and seeing what I can do with them. You know, maybe on down the line, if we want a more traditional Umber Hulk, I'll snag another one and paint them up to look like what we see in the book art and that type of thing. But this one was just begging for a beetle treatment. And I don't mean the beetles. Oh, this is so much fun. This is fun. Ooh, I don't want a huge glob. There you go. think I'm liking this camera hanging up a lot better because it's not getting into my elbow either, which helps, because that was getting to be aggravating. And again, let me know if you need sound adjusted or anything like that. I do have some control over that. Yuck, yuck, yuck. And hopefully this is giving you an idea. Ooh, here we go. Now you're really getting the idea with the one side. Look at that. He's all buggy. Love it. Wouldn't a white base give off a... No, it doesn't give off the pearlescent feel at all. It actually mutes it completely, and it just becomes like almost a dull grayish look. You would think it would get more of a pearlescent look, but it really, the colors show off far better on darker tones. Quite frankly, I've been fiddling around on different colors of crafters foam, and this by far, darker tones, it plays nicely with. Gotta go. Class starting soon. Okay, Alan, thank you so much for stopping by again. Always good to hear from you. Have fun with the class. And hopefully catch you next week. Take care. Let me see here. Nothing wrong with the blue Umber Hulk. They have the right. Well, thank you, DCC. Plus, I don't know. I always like... I kind of picture these guys as kind of like how beholders are, like depending on where they're located, they shift a little bit. But it also probably has a lot to do with the fact I'm basing them off beetles, and that's sort of true for beetles as well. All right, let me see if I can that show up? Not too much. Awkward angle mode again. Awkward angle, heads up, awkward angle. This is exactly why I didn't want to do the antenna yet, because I'm trying to paint around this guy and it's just not happening. All right, so I'm gonna keep putting this around. It's funny, at some points, what I'm seeing through here right now, camera's not picking up, but there's this really cool flash of like a lilac purple happening. Let's see if I can get it to mimic. Oh, it's kind of like that. There we go. And then when you move it around, it takes more of a blue tone on, which is allowing the other blues to show underneath, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, needless to say, I do like these. I'm gonna get this onto the other arm now. And I'm not doing a dry brush. I am painting this into the crevices and everything, but because this is such a light and translucent paint, everything underneath that you've done in terms of bringing out the details, it doesn't get mucked up or hidden. So I know some people are hesitant about that. This is basically just adding a little iridescent enhancement. It's not muting anything out. Did I get that before? This is going to be the fun part. Did I paint that yet? Because when the color shifts, sometimes it's back to what it looked like before. But oh, this is fun. He might even have a blue dragon accent in his speech. Oh, interesting. Maybe he works for a blue dragon. We got this guy's backstory starting up, which I always love doing. Oh, I'm going to call him Wario because we have the Hook Horrors Mario and Luigi. And it's in this whole like buggy beetle line of paint approach. So this is going to be Wario. Say hello to Wario. I mean, come on. We have to have fun. Blue ba da ba dee ba doo da. Yeah, trust me, that's been in my head. I'd be lying if I said that wasn't. That's definitely on the earworm radar. Or earwig. I swear I'm hearing it being said both ways now. Alright, so that's the majority of it. I'm going to get the head as well. And then we'll move on to the main body. Just tuck this around. Again, since I'm doing the eyes last, I'm not worrying too much about getting anything on them. I do think with the pinchers though, I am going to shift the purple base, or not the base, the purple coat onto them instead of doing the blue, just from looking at the tones. Okay, so we'll do this. So he's been treated with the iridescent on top, but not on the bottom yet. So you can see how that color shift is happening. Somewhat. I'm definitely going to play around. What I want to try and do, because it's almost the perfect day for it, is go outside and take a video rotating it. And I have a feeling those colors will show through a lot more through a little quick clip. But you can see how this looks with the iridescence there, but not on the rest of the body yet. So again, this is done with the straight up blue from the Flash Metallic. So the sky just did all of that for me after putting in my base colors and layers to get it to where I want it to be. They're good paints for this purpose. They're not good paints independently. If you want to just paint something to be shimmery and shiny, decide what colors you want it to be underneath first, is going to be my recommendation for how to use these. Yeah, the modulating colors is really what I was thinking they would do for me, and they did exactly that. It was more my plotting to plan where each of these colors were going to go. All right, moving on now to purple. And this is going to go on the main body. Oh, I also realized you can see on the camera my issue, because when I go to move something one way, it goes the opposite direction. Like, see, I'm going to lean and pulls the other way. That's why I'm like, where is this going? So I'm going to move on to using purple. I just need a little dot. A little of this is going to go a long way, especially if you're painting minis. So that's another good thing to keep in mind. However, I have more body to cover, so I'm not going to put that fully away. All right, now we're going to start adding this purple. And the purple, I have a streak right there, but it doesn't show the color shift because it's so stable. All right, it's a stable table. We don't want a cat hair on that. All right, here we go with the purple. And again, this is where I had the Warlord purple, and then I phased it into Stormy blue, and a little bit of the Imperial blue went up on the back from last week. So let's get this on. Yep, there we go. And I am going to play around with a secondary set of these shift colors, and you'll see what I'm going to do with that. But this is getting more of a purpley blue combination going for the bottom half of this guy. Different creature, but still. So Jedi Jim saying his 1980s Umber Hulk was a very different creature, but still blue. Oh, isn't that funny? I don't suppose you still have it, do you, Jedi Jim? Because that would be fun to see. That would be really a lot of fun to see. Oh, this is actually picking up with the camera a lot better. So you're getting that nice turquoise blue flash color happening between the purple. Yay! Very yay, very happy, very cool. Again, this part of the body through here, I'm not going to make iridescent, because it's kind of like his underside. But everything that has the plate armor, so to speak, that will be getting the sparkly treatment. Put a little bit more down the center. Okay. Ooh, that's so much fun. Look at that. So you can see, ooh, yay, you can see the shifting happening. So it gets that blue and then it goes back to the purple. Oh, I have to do a dragon like this now. Oh yes, there will be a dragon in the future getting this iridescent treatment on some scales. Yeah. I'm thinking that's going to be a yes. Okay, let me get the rest of the legs, or the two legs, not the rest. Let me get the two legs going, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with the secondary shift colors, because I still want to play around with the colors that they shift into, and it'll play into what's going on with the beetle that I just pointed to, but you can't see because it's off screen. Getting all the nooks and crannies. So I'm trying to think what else. I just told you about the Gen Con, how I'll be going to Gen Con. That was one of those things. I got the lottery assignment. I actually got a good time slot. I got very, very lucky with that. And quite frankly, that was the one thing. It's like if I couldn't really snag a room, then chances are I wouldn't be going. But the room was achieved. So I'll be there. I will be there. I'm looking forward to it. There's going to be a lot of really great people going too. So if you see me, make sure to stop and say hi. Because I can guarantee you I'm going to be in just like a mode. Ooh, look, it gets that blue. There we go. Look at that. Purple to blue. Purple, blue. I love it. This is fun. This is fun. V has, oh, DCC. I'm sure I do. Let's see. Oh yeah, if you find it, I would love to see it, Jedi Jim. You can even email, if you want to email it to me, and I could always post it onto the Facebook page, or you could post it to my, I think you can post it to my Facebook page. You could post it there, and I'll share with the rest as to why that's being posted and why it's so important to take a look at. Yeah, I am definitely going to be painting the pinchers with this as well, because that's more of the color shifting I want for the pinchers. But look at this. This one's showing up nicely. So you get that shift from the blue And you'll see it happening right there to its purple. Oh, this is so much fun. I'm a fan of new paints and what they're going to do for me. So yes, these are paints that I will use for shimmer effects, but only as a top coat, not for independent colors. That's my little 2 cents on how these would probably be most effective for use. Clear minis is using color shift paints. Yes, I've been using washes on clear minis too, and that's another fun thing to do with them. Oh, I should try this out on clear minis. That's a very good point, Janice. She got an idea. And Tom, thank you so much for stopping by. I will definitely post this up over on Instagram, Twitter, and the Facebook page, and in the community section of my YouTube channel. So for those of you wanting to see how these turn out and they can't stay for the whole thing, that's where you'll be able to find all this. All right, I have some interesting angles to reach. Pardon me while I get to them. Ooh, get back over here. There we go. But yeah, this is fun. And there's the wind going, if you hear that weird whoa sound. Oh, I can do that. I totally forgot I could do that because I haven't done the base up yet. Give me just a second to finish painting this leg, and I'll show you what I mean for the question where it was asked, what about if you put it onto black? Hey, Chameleon fam, how are you? It's good to see you. Thank you very much. We miss you. We're looking forward to when we can see you back in the chat for Forge of Fury. And on Mini Terrain Domain, Chameleon fam is one of our very active chat people. We always love seeing them there. All right, so I'm going to take the purple and I'm going to put it onto, because this is going to get covered again anyways. But you can see how it plays a lot better with dark colors. Even on a pure black, you get a better sense of it. So that gives you an idea of how it works out. And then this, I'll just make sure, well, I am going to paint it more of a stone gray color in the end, so I'm not too worried about that. But as you can see, that's where dark color is better. Do I have... Ooh, I do. All right, Torn Pix, if you're still there, this is what I'm going to show you with the whites. See? It goes like a muddied gray tone. You don't even get a pearlescence to it. It gets completely... It's slightly shiny. It doesn't play well on white. So dark colors is where these perform best. Like really dark colors. Probably your darker purples, greens, blues, reds are going to be your friends when you want to use these colors. Those are currently unavailable on Amazon. Yeah. Again, just keep an eye out for them in your local craft stores as well. So this is getting those 2 main colors onto the body areas that I wanted to. And now I'm going to go in and use the other 2 colors to play around with where colors are shifting and how colors are shifting. So that means I'm putting this broader brush away. How are we on time? Oh, we're doing just fine. All right, I'm going to put this guy to the side for now. Oh, yay! It'll be good to see you there, Chameleon fam. I'll let Jake know that you're in the wings for next week. Oh, this is one I haven't opened up fully yet either. Or rather, I've untwisted the cap in full. I have not taken the seal off. If you saw how I do things with my paints, you'd be laughing. All right, so I'm just going to take the pink Flash Metallic. I don't need a lot, I just need a little bit. There we go. So the pink Flash Metallic, I'm going to go back in with this one. And you can see it's got... okay. So it does like this orange to purple to a hot pink, which is fun. So what I'm going to do is go back in and along where I put the Warlord purple, the one that I kept calling pink last week, that is where I'm going to put this in, because I would love for that pinkish purple tone to get that flash of the orangey tones if possible. So we shall see. So right now, I don't know if that's going to show up for the camera. Right now it's translating to that more of a hot pink color to the blue. It's like a sky blue actually. So I'm just trailing this along where I had originally put the Warlord purple. And again, not too terribly thick, just a touch of it. And it does, okay, it is doing it. I don't think the camera's going to catch it. Let me get it down towards the base and see if that shows up more. Yeah, for the whites, you gotta stick to different paints because these just don't like whites. They don't play together well. They don't feed off of each other well is really what it boils down to. It's just there's not enough color support with a white for what these do. They prefer, obviously, to play around with darker colors. Let's see, is that gonna give me... yeah, it's just it's giving you more of the blue that's in it. Okay, right about there-ish. That's where some of that pink is playing up a little bit, but unfortunately, in real life, looks pretty cool. Camera-wise, not catching it. Yeah, that's what I'll normally do with taking off the labels. John, however, I don't want to accidentally spill, which is why I was cutting them off instead. Just playing it safe. Controlled chaos. Oh, Hemingway came to join us. I don't know if you heard his little trill. Yes, I'm talking to the people online, kitty. If you can hear him, he's saying, hello, and why aren't you paying attention to me? Because he's Hemingway. All eyes should be on him. I'm gonna just feather this slightly, like I did with the Warlord purple. Oh, okay. It seems to be in the darker, it'll play up more. So that shift right there, that's the metallic, that's not the paint. See how it's getting like an orangey red to it? And then it goes to blue. Isn't that fun? Here we go again. Right there. Okay. Yeah, now it's showing it off a little bit more. So these are fun to play around with. Definitely. I'm going to do the same thing to the legs where I had put this, especially along the ridged area here, because that'll be fun to have it jump out a little bit more. So basically, if you were here last week, I'm doing the exact same thing I did before, but just putting that coating of the pink flash metallic to have some fun with the colors there. But that definitely, that gave me the look I was hoping for. I'm just bummed the camera can't pick this up. I'm hoping a you know, point and shoot type of situation camera will, as I do a little dancing around. All right, and then I'm gonna get the base area around the feet. Pull this up a little. And this is more accent, so I'm not going crazy. Hemingway says, talk to me. I'm right here. He pretty much, that's Hemingway. I'm right here. I'm cute. I'm adorable. And I love you, Mom. If you watch me play on streams, he will often, very often make an appearance, especially Thursday afternoons on Scrat's channel. Because Alice, she was my DM last season. And I swear he knew that she was the one DMing because he'd hop right up, say his hello, and then towards the very end come back, say his little goodbyes to her. And now he's pretty much trained for Thursdays at 1 p.m. and 3:30 to jump up and say hi. Hello, Nathan, you did make it. I am applying the color flash, or the metallic, what are they called? Flash metal, there we go. Ah, flash. Yeah, now that's gonna be stuck in my head. I just did the blue and the purple, Nathan, on the major parts of the body, and right now I'm going in with pink and highlighting where the Warlord purple had been put on last week, because that one has more pinks and oranges to it than the other two do, and I want to play around with that. So there it is, coming through a little bit, but it's fun. It's fun trying out new things and seeing what they do for you. And actually, oh, that was interesting. Had a little bit of salmon tone for a second. That was neat. I'm not gonna make myself super crazy. The one that's gonna be very telling is the green, because that's really fun. I've seen it. He popped in our Retroverse game. Yes. He very much likes to say hi. And he's also learned, like, he'll put his massive paw up onto my face, because then I have to pay attention to him. There's really no way to ignore it. Because, you know, kitty with massive paws saying, love me, you're gonna pay attention. All right, so this is where I've put it all. Oh, I wish the webcam could pick it up more. But you can see how every so often that hot pink will flare up more as opposed to the blue and purples. And now we're going to move on to that green. So I'm going to have fun with putting the green, again, going back to that reference photo. I'm going to play with the green on the lower portion. So basically, mentally I've translated that this is sort of like the arched, ridged area on the Umber Hulk. This is where the back meets the bottom panels. So I'm going to start putting this green in along the bottom part there, is my game plan. If it works, fantastic. If not, well, it'll probably just be more like bluish tones of shifting. Is really what it boils down to. All right, so yep, this is just standard green Ceram Coat Delta, Flash Metallic. Paints that like to play with dark colors, not so much with light tones, pastel tones. That might be something to do though. See if it does any better with some pastels. I can play around with that. That might be something. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in with this green. And did I show you the shift? I don't think I did. So this goes from the lime green to get this fun, like tangerine, into a little bit of a pink, and then it goes into this teal blue. So it's a cool combination. Hello, Chris. How are you today? Thank you for joining. Okay, so again, I'm focusing this more towards the bottom here. I actually might switch over to my broader brush. That's why I didn't want to put it away fully. Yeah, I'm going to move that up to my other brush because I want to feather this more. And this is too narrow of a brush to do that. But it is bringing some of that green in that I want. Okay, so back at it. Yeah, this is the... Now as you can see here, because of the colors I've had underneath, it's building up. So you actually do get a hint of that green. And then, see, this is funny. Right now on the camera, it's picking up the blue. For me right now, this is like bright green. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. And I'm not going to pull this up too far. I'm kind of just keeping it more towards the back portion. And then just feathering it through. So you can kind of see on the side view here how it'll be more of the blues towards the front, green shift, paint put towards the back. And again, I'm not looking for full coverage, more just the hint of the colors there. I'm gonna go back and watch this and see if I can hear that sound coming through. I don't know. But yeah, that's fun. That's cool. Let me do it to the other side. Just hold this differently to do that. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, it's fun. Challenging part right now is trying to get a good angle here to show you and to still be able to paint it. Ah, the joys of mini painting. Things you never thought of. How am I going to paint this, holding it to be seen while I hold it upside down? Alright, so again, same thing. I'm just going to feather it up and through. I should do it. Just a little bit more in the base. This got a little bit more because of the other brush going in first, so I'm going to put a tiny bit more around the bottom again. Just to give it a good balance. There we go. That's a little bit better. So alright, that's definitely showing the blending of the shift paints there. So it has more of the, let's pull it up. See? So it's mimicking what I see here on the photo. No, I don't need to move both. I can move the one. Moving the photo around too. That's smart. Isn't it funny how your brain can work? But this shows you where my brain was going with the colors. So now what I have left to do are the eyes. It's not a wind noise, it's like this groaning sound because of it shooting through our pipes for our furnace. Now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to do those eyes like I had talked about before. And I also am going to take a quick sip of tea. I'm getting parched. It's sometimes the Yeti will pick up one thing or another you don't expect it to. All right, so that's it with the flash metallics, but I do like how the, oh wait, no, I have the pinchers. How could I forget the pinchers? I want to do the purple on that. So let's get some purple on my brush. Purple on the pinchers. Even though I used the blue on the body and it's a similar coloring, I wanted the purple to go on the pinchers here. So it's kind of playing around with all the colors there. I gotta get the underside as well. Then we'll do the eyeballies. There you go. See that there. Alright. Look at that. He's looking buggy. Pat your head and rub your tummy. That I can do. I can even walk and chew my gum. The live shifting effect is very effective, yes. It looks incredible in real life. It's just the webcam can't catch all the nuances of the shifts as they happen together. So like I said, I'm going to play around with my camera and see if I can get it better. But this is kind of giving you a sense of how the colors are moving around. All right, so now we have his lovely buggy eyes right there, and then the two little on the top. Hey, Starren, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Where's the color I'm using for that? Hold on, let me put these guys away. Done with the flash metallics. And, yes, hammered copper. So I'm jumping back over to Vallejo's game color line, and I'm using the hammered copper for his eyeballs. Because if you look at some of these insects, or the bugs, I should say, the beetles, they have this coppery color to those eye areas. Now, question of the day is, do I want to do the small ones first or last? Do I feel lucky, punk? They are so hard to see right now. All right. Right, there's one right there. That. Literally dot the eye. Where's the other one? Right there. Okay, that part I didn't expect the shifting to affect locale and being able to spot those. Okay, there's the other one. Actually went back to the picture in the book just to double check that. Yeah, it's really. This is gonna be the meme. I'm like, ew. Someone's gonna clip that. Someone's gonna clip my looking cross-eyed at this thing all happy. Why not? All right, now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do the eyes again. Same color with that copper. Now there are these detail slits in them, so I'm trying to keep the paint away from going into those as well as from going into the ridges. Like I'm offering him up to you with the camera. There you go. You can see how that one eye looks right now. Oh boy, the fiestas. I did look those things up. Now I get what they are. And no, my kid's school does not serve those. I asked them when they got home. I said, hey, do you guys? And they're like, what now? So yeah, this I don't know. I don't know, but it was pretty funny. I was glad to see they looked just as confused as I had felt when you brought those up. Now there was no way of really showing you my getting that eye done because of how the angle is, but now his eyes are done. He is looking at you, kid. Say hello. All right, so that's done. Now I'm going to pick up black and get the antenna, and I am going to do the fingernails, claws in black. For some reason, my Vallejo black, though, is far too liquidy. So I am going to jump over to just using craft black. It's also small enough areas where I want to make sure it just gets a quick coverage. I don't want to play around with layer after layer after layer because ain't nobody got time for that. All right, so jumping over to just a basic black, I am going to go in and we're going to give him a manicure. Actually, this really does feel like I'm giving him a manicure. Pedicure is going to be a beast though. My goodness. I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. There we go. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot better with the black on the claws. A little bit more intimidating that way. Must be a Nebraska thing. Well, no, we have chili and cinnamon rolls. We just don't have fiestadas. Oh god, I have a feeling that's going to turn into a running joke with this group. What's for lunch? Fiestadas. What are those? No clue. When do we want them? Whenever we get hungry. All right, and the nails do sort of wrap around the sides, so I'm going back in. Getting the side portion of these as well. But, yeah, that just gives them a nice little divide between the fingertips and the claws themselves. This guy takes care of his claws. They're long and healthy. Yoink. So yeah, he's pulling together nicely. Wario's pulling together nicely. Next thing, once I get this done, I'm going to pop him onto that flat black base, and I'll show you the whole Vallejo texture paint application to sort of blend the two into each other. All right, and now I'm just going to work on getting the back of the claws as well. There we go. No clue, you say? I will take 2 of these fiestadas. Yeah, I'm clueless in the fiestada realm. Is that even showing up? Hold on. There we go. Alright, so we got the back of the claws, the front of the claws, and now the antenna. I'm just going to give a little coat of black so they kind of pop out more. I didn't want to, I was thinking about making them an iridescent-y thing, but then figured basically what was going to happen is it was going to start fading in to the rest of the color shifting, and I didn't necessarily want these to get lost. So that's why I'm going in with just a nice flat black so they pop. Hello, Mike Dempsey. Yes, I'm quite happy with the jewel tones as well. That was one of those things where I went off the straight and narrow path of Umber Hulk colors. Played around with it some. Alright, so make sure I don't get black anywhere else. So I'm going to get slightly quiet as I get this painted up. Okay, see, now you can see the antenna. Antennae. There we go. Yeah. Yep. Alright, now the fun thing is I have to get the back portion of the one that's floating. So let me see if I can even... If I hold them like that, I can still paint and you can still see. There we go. Alright, now I got it from all sides. Maybe they'll have fiestadas at Gen Con. Now you're hungry and you need this thing. Yeah, we did this to ourselves last week too, during fixing. Okay, so I am going to call him done in terms of colors with everything going on here. In terms of how I'm going to seal him, it's out of reach. I'll show you the matte version. Mod Podge has this new thing coming out in March, and it's a spray-on. And I gotta say, this I am loving for mattifying my minis the best. Not even kidding, the best I've used on minis to make them more matte. What I'm gonna use is its friend, the gloss version, for this guy, because the gloss really does keep metallics and shinier things shiny without blurring them or muting them down. So this is going to get sealed up using the Mod Podge Ultra Gloss, which is a orangey red label. Those are available for pre-purchase on Amazon as well. But now what I'm going to do is pop him off my painting base and put him onto just a simple black base, and then I'm going to add on those Vallejo paint effects for more of a texture. Now, what I like to use, where'd it go? There it is. What I like to use for putting my minis onto bases is my Gorilla Super Glue, which is running low, so I have to do this to bring it more towards the nozzle. But this stuff, it's the gel, which I really like because it's a lot less mess issue. So I'm going to use this to put onto the base here. I do want to make sure there's decent coverage because this guy is top heavy. I don't want to skimp out and not put enough on. And since I know that this texture paint's going on top, any little bit of this that might leak through, it's pretty much negligible. But you can see I'm making sure it's getting all over that base. And I kind of give myself about a 1/4 inch play on the edges because once you smoosh it down, it will play out. All right, and then what I like to do is just flip him over and then get my head in the way. Sorry about that. And then just place him down. And in this case, I'm going to let his own weight help seal the deal. So that's probably need about a minute or so. And we're just at 1 o'clock. So yeah, this won't be too much longer. We'll probably be done around 1:15, I want to say. So while he's drying, let me show you this stuff. This does come in other colors. I have it in white, rough white. There is a difference. One's a finer granular. Then there's black, there is gray, there is sort of like a earthy brown. And I know this is actually almost looking like what the other one dries like. For some reason that's translating brown right now, even though that's black. But this is called the Black Lava Asphalt. It does work really well as asphalt. So if anyone is looking for, say like Gaslands or modern terrain stuff, I would recommend getting this because when you smooth it out, it looks like, you know, roads and whatnot. But this stuff is pretty cool because it has mixed into the paint. It has a great texture to it and it dries beautifully and it gives a nice solid finish when it is done. It doesn't like get all flaky or anything. It's a strong paint with the texture added into it, which helps. So this is what I'm going to use to phase the base into the bigger base. Again, because my thing is, you can see it right now where, let me see if I can I play with you yet? Still going to handle it gingerly. I don't like this. This is the type of thing that just drives me nuts. I'm like, ah. So I'm going to take the black and blend it from midpoint out and around the base so that we get more of a texture all the way around. And that to me kind of gives you more of a finished look to your bases. Because he's such a big guy and he's at these awkward angles, I'm not going to fiddle around too much with doing, I'm purposely pinching it so we don't inadvertently lose him. I don't want to play around with too much things like, you know, rubble or grass or things like that because I think it's going to pull away from him. And he's the focus. He's the spotlight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this carefully back onto, oh, this is the part where I'm always holding my breath. Put this back onto my little holder. There we go. And I'm going to start putting this on. I'll start on this side where it's a lot easier to see. And I am not going to use my mini brushes. That's the other thing. This stuff is hard on your brushes. So do not apply this with your good brushes or anything like that, or you will be mad at yourself. Not that I'm speaking from experience at all. None whatsoever. I did not lose one of my favorite brushes because of getting too excited and using the wrong one. I usually just go for El Cheapo. This is like a cheap brush I just got from a packet at like Joann's or something like that. So I'm going to go in with this one. And in terms of dry time, a lot of that's going to vary on how thick you put this stuff on. You can see it's pretty pasty. But because of this lip here, it is going to be a little bit thicker around the edge. Get over here, you. Oops, hold on. That is a dried piece. We don't want to put that in there. So the easiest way to apply this is get a good glob. That's a technical term, a glob. onto your brush and then just sort of like pat up and down, and it'll start filling it in, and then you can phase it to the edges. That's how I'm doing it. I'm this over so I'm not going in these odd angles. So again, I'm getting a glob on here, and I am pushing it just ever so slightly into the ridge so that it feeds one into the other. I am trying to be careful here by the foot. But you can see now how the bases aren't so divergent from one another. Because that just bugs me. Pun intended. I'm just going to bring that up a little bit. So see? It pulls them so it blends one into the next. Which that is my own personal mini quirk. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. You can have that division. You can finish up the pseudo base that he already has. You could even feasibly leave him off a base like this. You don't technically have to put him onto a big base. But like I said, I noticed he's a little top heavy, so I did kind of want to do that just to have sort of an insurance policy so it doesn't keep falling over on the table. But this is my go-to for blending a higher base into one of these guys. Or the other option is you could try to carefully divide him from his first base and then put him onto another one, but I would recommend you do that before painting, not after. Because if that slips, you will not be happy. Now there is a little bit of a gap here happening, so I want to get some of this paint in here. And I do like this paint. I've used this paint before in its white version as a snow effects, which worked out really well. Those I was quite happy with. All right, so you can see how that just took care of. And if anything, what I'll do when this is dry, no, it doesn't shrink. It just, it's beautiful stuff. It doesn't crack, it doesn't flake. I have it on terrain pieces and it holds up beautifully. Lewis. Oop, hold on. There we go. All right, now I gotta play a little bit more carefully here because of the pinchers. So I'm gonna go in first and just sort of push it into, whoa, that's a lot. I'm gonna push this into as carefully as I can into that gap, and then I'm going to tap on it to sort of create that slope and texture. What I don't want to do is hit this pincher because that's pretty darn close to the edge. Fingers crossed I can do that. I might have to get a thinner brush for that zone because I really don't want to mar up my pincher. I just finished it. Oh, I know what I can grab. Right, that gives you the idea though. And I am going to bring some of this up more so it's not such an obvious divide. But now you can see it's looking more like a cohesive unit as opposed to two separate pieces, except for that one spot that I can't reach with my brush. Yeah, no, it's a really nice paint effect. Well, paint texture, I should say. Paint effects are a different story. Those are a different line. Let me just rinse this off. But this was just rinsed, and I'll show you. See, it gets in there, and it has this gritty, sandy texture to it, which is why you don't want to use a good brush on this. Let's see if it'll show. You can see there's all this. But the coverage on it is great too. Like you can even just put this straight on and not have to worry about basing anything. I've just painted this straight onto one of my other minis. I didn't put black underneath first, and it covered. Boy, did it cover. Okay, this is what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use my little daughter. Since this is metal, it comes right off. I'm gonna use the daughter and see if I can get that into that crevasse without hitting a pincher side. Yep. Okay, there we go. It did it. There we go. Much better. Okay, so then he just is going to need to dry. yeah, it really does blend the bases together quite nicely. And I'm going to give this overnight to dry before I try doing any funky dry brushing. But probably what I'm going to do with this is, once it is dry, I'll go back in with probably a graphite gray and just do a quick dry brush along the top to bring out the details of the texture. But I'm not going to go much crazier than just that little finishing touch. But now, when you look at it from overhead, it's just blended it together, so you're not seeing the shunk in the flat. Those are technical terms, by the way. But yeah, this is Wario. Wario is all done. He is my lovely iridescent blue Umber Hulk. So hopefully this has given you guys some ideas as to things you can do with your own minis, as well as some tips and tricks and different... Ooh, I've got some of that stuff on my hand. Things you can do with them. But I am very pleased with how he came out overall. Let's pull out our reference photo. You want to see the label again? Yeah. So here was the reference photo. Here is my Umber Hulk. So yeah, definitely got it to where I wanted it to be, and I'm quite pleased with it overall. So this guy I'm going to let dry. I will do his texture painting highlights when that dries. So for now, he's just going to get a little safe spot tucked under in my drying shelf. And for Lewis, for John rather, this is the paint. And you'll see they all have different names. So this is the black lava. There's rough white. There's, earth texture, I believe, is the brown. But yeah. This is basically, it's a whole line of different colors, and they all perform the same way, which is great. And you can use them for different purposes. But again, it is extremely gritty, and you have to be careful because it can obviously give you really good coverage. That was just a dot of the stuff, and look what it's done to my skin. Like, it will cover, and it paints and texturizes at the same time. So that is it for our Umber Hulk. Next week, let me grab him. Next week, I am going to... We printed out one of Miguel's, oh, please show, one of Miguel's owl bears. This is the problem when I need good lighting. Hold on. Light off. There we go. So I'm going to paint this lovely little owl bear from Miguel Zavala. He does all these really great 3D print designs. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of give this guy a quick little how do you do and get him painted up. So I'm going to be looking at owls this week to figure out which owl I'm going to base this one off of, because that'll be fun. So this is the plan for next week, and then we'll go from there and see which one's going to follow Mr. Owlbear. Turn the light back on so you can actually see me. He is a very pretty boy, Torn Pixie. I agree. So that is it. Again, this will be one of those things where I'll make sure that the video on demand is going to be up and available soon. Right now it's going to go unlisted, so if you have the link you can still check it out, but YouTube likes to sometimes, especially when you have the word monster in your description, likes to screen things a little more closely, so I'm just going to let it chug for a couple hours and add in any more details. I will make sure there are links put in for this. I will see if I can find links for purchase, or at least more information for the flash metallics and all that good stuff. So thank you very much, everyone. We will have another lunch break live stream next week. Same time, same place, different date. So have a great day. If you are where it is cold and icy and snowy, please stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see y'all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.